Ndikulandirira Malawi lero pa 12 February 2026 tu mmawa wabwino la mulungu yetu tsiku limene anthu ambiri amapita kupembedza. Ena amapembedza lachisanu, ena amapembedza loweruka dzulo limenelo, ena apita lero kukapembedza. Apa ife tabwera ndi Times Exclusive imene yetu ndi program imene imachokera kuja ku Times ndi ife Gramax 4 ati tikupatsire na Malawi kuti mudziwe kuti akuti zinali bwanji. Yetu Times Exclusive ndi program imene kumakhala akuluakulu amenewa at times amacheza ndi anthu osiyanasiyana mdziko muno amene amabweretsa nkhani zoyenera kuti inu ndine timve Amalawi tidziwe kuti mdziko muno chikuchitika ndi chani, anthu akuchita chani chabwino. Apatu mkulu ameneyo Wanda Msisa amenenso ali managing director wa kumeneku Times amacheza ndi mkulu wina iyeyitu akutitu ndi Guy. Kodi mudamba mwavapo dzina limeneli lakuti Guy. Mkulu ameneyo ndithu akuyesetsa Malawi muno. Mkulu ameneyo akuchita business yogulitsa mafoni, makompyuta, ma iPad, komatu kaya ma headphone, ma headset, ameniwa zonsezi za kuchokera kwa mpanija ya Apple. Yetu ndi adampatsa dzina akuti ndi Guy. Ali mashopu yake kublanta komanso Lilongwe. Inuru mutha kuthamanga, mutha kupita mkukagola kuti nanu mukhale nayo Apple yabwino kwambiri. Yetu sono mkulu ameneyo ndithu akuyesetsa bwera ndi nkhani imene akufotokoza apa. Kodi munamva yetu Wanda Msisa wafotokoza nkhani zake, wamufunsa mafunso odabwitsa ndipo naye wayankha muri kodi nzoona izi zimene zikuchitika mdziko muno wachinyamata ochichepere ngati amene akuti 27 years yeiro wakwanisa kuchita zinthu zimenezi. Kodi inu mukudziwa takhani pomwepo mumve kodi Guy akuti ni nani nanga amachita chani kwenikweni chinamuyambitsa kuyamba business imene ndi chani. Tapangani like, tapangani subscribe, tateni timve kodi Guy akuti bwanji mmawa lero.
iPhone that time iPhone 6 so
really zimene kuna mtamakweza kwa house
2019
chabwe
around there wezo tukusukuja ndio tunalisa masiria. So you always wonder what's so special about community. So I had discovered kuti ichi chimakanga lino ndaruka makwera Benz unalisa mangoti I did Benz. So to me I was like I feel like this has a prestige value in the society, yeah? So na ambabe nazigulira kanga
unagula kanga iPhone ya.
Yes, so
that was much jama 2019.
Yeah, that was 2019. So mezodi kusukuja kafoni kaje wina kupepa bwana. So iwe muna wakagula I think that time 50,000 mafoni magulisa 100,000
ya second hand
right. Udabwa mawa muntu kupepa ndio ngomuye samuntu iro mina 90 or 8 udabwa muntu cash zukhala bwanji. So bezo wina akugulisa so umpepa ya bro into wasani ndamo magutu udabwa no anthu ajano ukagula wina kugula. So with time I sat down. So I was like chabwino ndumaka ndakhala ndi yanga ndagulisa sikulina nazayeso kana wawiri ndagulisa ndeno chabwino ngandupanga 10,000 ndezo tuzitakhala nazo 10 or 20 ningabangenda mazingati. You know, so I told myself to say let me try to discipline myself, you know. So even for me at my volunteer manager amati kubilira kuti basa fees. So I was like mina kafiza kanipasa is what I'm sure so ndingamwira ndikabangire china chake. What if I can just take this one ndikayipangire so ndisera juga, but I know that for sure zumaka zumadan zumatinga. So I remember that time nali ukaposta pa Facebook mpaka for the first time bwana na ga good music ananimbira phone amwe ndifuna phone na Facebook mtu jakubwera ku school pa jipezi even yesterday. So with time, I think I started learning to say, I feel like the more I discipline myself and focus more on this, I believe that it will benefit me. So I did that, and it was quite an experience, because I remember even one of my kusaina dakhala kuone akumwe nthawi makhauri ndikuchedwa for nthawi pa break or pa lunch ndipo makhanda tuluka ndipo mandika stomba Shoprite ndiyabwera kuje ndikuja I'm late, I'm always the late comer mwaona olo pa break budget makhandika I think 30 minutes break. Then I took a shop right. Chonchi, it was an ongoing experience, but you know, I really enjoyed it because I'm gonna pass a bit wisdom, right? So to say, good, you know, my son, I think you can go through this path, you know. So that was just part of it.
So mwapita kuna sit kuti mukapanga computer programming.
Yes.
Imaenda computer programming kapena zitanguyamba za mafoni izi. Ina zaoneka kuti zitichedwesa mwina za programming izi za mafoni izi zimezi kugwira.
Actually, you know, when I started in school, in my SS, I was really, all of my grades in the Alire. You know, because, you know, I had that hard way. I saw, during my time, I saw people go to time and you know, you'd see that they were doing really well. But I told myself that, okay, fine, it's not quite usual for us to at a young age, but I had believed to say, sometimes no matter what, but school imaenda bwino kwa basi
mokuti munamaliza school kuna city. You graduated in dichani
computer programming.
Yeah. As a degree. Oh, munabandi degree ya mjeni ya computer. You are a programmer.
Yeah, I'm a programmer by profession.
Have you even tried after that kubanga any type of programming work kapena because of this business now ya mafoni ya programming jenango pachika basi a degree kungomera fumbi?
A degree, to be honest, I've never really used it anyway. Because after college it was straight. I was like, I had enough time now, but my lectures and my so I think I had sat down to see, okay, where is it that I can improve, you know, because when it comes to that the Apple ecosystem, it's quite broad. Because every year but that time my capital in business ya Chikwama.
Okay, now I think it
it
means like mukakhala panopa mumaganiza kuti business imene munayamba ndi ndalama zingati?
During that time I would say 100,000 to be honest. Yeah.
You mati 200 you buy a phone,
of course,
kugulisa.
Yes.
Kena kamina ukhanda awiri kugulisa. Nkumagula.
Then it grows. Yeah. So
to maybe how much before you left school?
I can't really remember during that time, but maybe the capital was maybe 2-3 million. I can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
So magula kuti mafundi.
Okay, so at first it was just wapi. When we said it was right? So you can't just become the master in it. So makabe good, you know, muna Facebook. So how can I get this, get that? So that's how it started. But with time, you had seen that the demand maybe for new phones was there, so you wouldn't really source that out here, you know. So I was forced to get out of my comfort zone and find other ways to go about it. So that's how it's in 2009 there. Okay,
so from that humble beginning, mina the 50,000 kwaja 100,000 mamba kugula mafoni, kugula ukuskuli kuenda, you've graduated with your degree in computer programming which you haven't used up to now. You have developed now full interest in the Apple products.
Yes.
How did you then move mwamaliza school? Munayamba pati? Munapeza shop? Munatani? How were you selling this now?
So what happened was andala makata kula pamono. Napeza galimoto kina kai. I think kina kama kulisa ulo.
Amagulisa wana galimoto.
So nata ababa ndufunike jani? Ndufunike galimoto. So I think I had to know that I'm not sure if I can afford it. Bas. It was some guy working at Standard Bank and I did turn this. It was a track twin scheme journey. I went home, we go on Zabuno. So you know, I think I had started good business. You know, so I had Kajwama and Mapolo Garibano phone. So I had like maybe all my phone at 10 and then I'll just put them in plastics and put rubber bands. But after whenever I just saw Zomwe is gonna go, you know, zinthu makanchi wama, so my customer ndidi masatira. So mabezo di customer nakhala kulimbi, olo customer matukhala kuvoma. Lero muzada bwana, whenever if I have to come to Zomba, sonkana fuel. So maybe that time tumatotira fuel 20,000. So
sonkana mimi wati kuti ku cost ya phone zirako yoti yakabwezi yawo.
Yes, so I'm just so happy that a lot of people in this country that home basis, because they compromise it. They put themselves in the other person's shoes to say, I think Mutila did the point. So my business do more so I'm gonna 10 so if it's 20,000, I'm gonna 10 bunch. So people were very understanding, and the fact that Mkulu won't be seated, suddenly bid up front for Agajuni guy, at least it was so. Usually it will work out, but sometimes, you know, business is business. And it's part of it, and you move forward.
So you bought a car.
Yes. Yes, I had to
go.
Yes. Yes.
Now you've moved from 1 phone, 2 phones to 10 phones.
Yes.
Matenga kuti mafuna amene wakuti azikhala enieni chifukwa kuliso tu ma products ena apo amene ali abodza, genuine and fake products. Anu amapeza kuti azikhala kuti anthu akagula azikhutisidwa kuti ndagula di product yenieni yolondola, a genuine product from Apple.
You know, authenticity, when we talk about Apple products, you know, there's more kind of serial number. Panopa, of course, my channel, you know, time ndimo basically out, you know, inayonika ngati ina yeni. But you know, with the authenticity, my serial number aja is makali zebsa authenticate or muntu asana gule amabanga panchini time jendera chika kuti battery health njodan, or if not makamera maka phone ndela mazivira camera. So and on top of
camera imatani
Kodi
kwa amene ena facility magwisa ntchito Apple, so pardon our ignorance, battery imatani. Okay,
so my battery health, my phone I don't my battery health where imaonisa the maximum capacity of the battery. Like, you know, yourself kugula gari moto jemgamailiza example, push start pompo imalina. Likakodi gamba uvaya, imaonisa suma signs and imayamba you understand. So it's the same psychology that goes to the phones where you choose the maximum capacity and tikakaudi ambapanga lamba kuta limaonesa so zimalimba message mafoni moja. So I think they are very educated now, and even then they've been educated. So and hajado is also amacheka asana berege ndalama. So for me also nimaise sababu quality also don't compromise, you know, because at the end of the day, what was growing the business fast was ukubidika kwantu. Ukhala mabanga chilungamo. Chifukwa ndikakupeza nini, ndakusa njinjabwino, mukamuza sunzana. Zanuja sikulina azabizole olumbaloga wa ngara papadu kama Yesu akujani ma university. Ana kula tini kwapo guy. Amakhani zinto zabwino. So it's always very important when you're doing business, when you quality, don't compromise, because and of course sometimes into small penalties to work with it, but you always have to ensure
So here is a guy graduate from UNASIT with his degree, computer programming, just did you do it? Did you find it was something that you really wanted to do? This idea, was it something that you had picked? You know, it was a family discussion.
Actually, you know, when I was young, when I was in primary school,
yes.
I remember phone yawe za onongeka. That phone. So I used to stay in Chileka, and in Luzu there was a certain guy who, you know, his name was Same. So I was, you know, I go to school sometimes, then I can't phone it. So I would go to Lunzu. So I'll just sit there and watch, you know, because that's
we're watching this Same guy akapanga fixing.
Mabanga watch. So with time, with maybe God's timing on Mauna so society many makarira, it was just like maybe the right timing, I should say. Could you know owners into communism and data. Then that was it.
So you also learned how to fix my phones.
Of course. So
by watching Mr. Same
yes,
fixing some
and I used to do that.
Phones.
Yes, and I used to do that because olokuchipinda kwanga mabolo of course amaziwa. So or even my dad before he could work amatondibeza muna palika phone kena gage because my customers number to prove that maybe I'll just be fixing it olokuchipinda.
Okay, so I want to understand.
Okay.
Secondary, primary, you were a phone repair.
I wouldn't really say, but when I recall, I would relate to say it all started there because school in capital in Banginan.
Programming. Koma kaka ujeni be knowledge ko konza ti mafoni tikapoirabe. You had it.
Yes, of course I had it.
Kena gano moved to selling Apple.
Of course.
Because the Apple was the high-end product, people were so much interested in buying these products. Okay, now let's move to now. How did you then move from kugulisa ndichikwama from galimoto to thinking, would you know what? Nditakutsegula shop. Chifando kumbukira mwambo segula shop udali upasa chini. Nali magalimoto jani and I wish I had that video to play it. Maybe I can find it. But you have Masekelela pipi apple guy and people were talking, hey, there's this boy, he's called Apple Guy. He said
I want to know which you got.
Oh yes.
So for that I just did it for branding, to say I did it for personal branding because I didn't want my personal name out there, but I was like, okay, if I have a business, but what if I can also try to sell my brand, business, right? So last time we print out my number plate.
Apart from just getting married, he decided also to sell the brand of Apple Guy. Now, when did you choose to say, I'm going to be called the Apple Guy? Is that Apple Guy? Is it something
first,
that you...
At first people, okay, so my business, first of all, if I talk about now, people are a bit more exposed. On TikTok, and I've seen that a lot of young people in Malawi, even what do we call this? Social medias, I'm a influencer, which also carries weight, because you can also choose to use those people. It's like you're supporting one another, local industries.
Yes.
But during, if you talk about 6 years ago, it was quite different. I remember because yes, we were there, one time. But if I'm to be honest with you, that time business was based on, like referrals. You understand? So now basically, I remember you phone. So so maybe tomorrow, the next day you get a phone. No, I was with Robody. I'm on phone away. I see that. Would you have a phone? So that's how it grew from like people getting to know us. Then I was like, let me create a brand name where people can they don't have to know me through. I wanted to differentiate myself from my personal life and business, So that's how it started growing. Company channel. What would be the best name? I don't know if it was a good name or not, but here we are, being called the Apple Guy. So because I wanted to be very specific to say I didn't want to go broad to say I want to do everything. I just wanted to be a master in one art. You understand?
And how has that worked? Could you decided to pick Apple products and stayed with them? I mean, I'm after a period you may not be able to pay for rentals, or if you have staff members, their salaries. How has it turned out for you? You picked a product, high-end product, you're moving products, and you've grown now.
Okay, so the beauty about I would say this brand, maybe it's broad, I would say. Kumano, as I said earlier, it's like Kulisa Mapenzi. uri kuchikwata amafuna kukwera pens munazoona zvinhu olo pano I'm sure munakwera pens. So when we talk about ngati community, this brand itself, it's everybody wants to have an experience with it, you know, and what it offers, you know, because when I say good iPhone you but basically kuti anthu kuti no akapeza ngachipa lendalama, everybody wants to have a share of it, you know, and I'm happy now that the ecosystem has grown it. Kuti no panova when aliyese akutani amazifuna zinthu zija, because at first people they used to say kuti no the interface is quite complex, imavuta sungayijaire wanonzo kuti munthu akhala ndi phone makhalabe kuti iPhone panova when aliyese amakonda kukhala ndi iPhone. So it's a good thing. It's also a status symbol. That's what I've also realized, which is a good thing, good for us. So
status symbol. When you say status symbol, you mean what? You've made it in life?
Not necessarily, but I would say that's a broad question. I wouldn't want to really get into it.
Yeah, I see it's a status. Ukavumbusa anthu akadusa mafoni anthu amaona ndi anthu angati amene ali ndi ma app ndi mafoni nawo.
Panova Amalawi ambiri iPhone anayikonda tisanani. You know, when I've seen that anthu ambiri amalimbikira, when alisakalimbikira munthu amafuna kukhala chinthu chabwino. More like mukakauti mwamenya pena pake mufuna TV yabo. So iPhone is part of it. When aliyesa mafuna kuti they should have a share of it, which is a good thing, you know. So yeah.
Amalawi panopa nthawi zambiri munthu akapanga business chimene chimazavuta kwambiri ndi customer care. Kuti mwina akamugula uja wapeza vuto kaya kudandaula china chake kuti athandizidwe. How do you handle that iweyo ngati now the Apple guy? How do you handle customers amene akumana ndi mavuto ena ake mwina pamene akugula katundu kwa inu?
Okay, so you've heard that saying that they say the customer is king. So for me and my team, we believe to say the customer is always right. Like customer not kubuira, customer to buira. You understand? For us, we understand kuti when let's have the right experience. But for us, we focus on making that customer happy. It's not every day that you make money. You understand it? Kumano customer joka basically omusamala. Uma basically kuti izintu zimatani zimaenda bwino because customer ja ukamusamala pamawa azakukumbukira kuti anthu aja china chake sichinaende bwino komana tani anandisamala. So customer care is the most essential element in every business, because if you have bad customer service, they would bad customer care kuti china chake munthu jawapanga china chake jalakwika they would izintu sizimatani sizimaenda. So that's what I would say about it.
So far, have you had my instances where a customer wakula katundu wanu ubwera inupana kulephera kumuthandiza?
No, that we don't allow. Because I've learned it way back in the day. You know, Kale, I used to do mobile business, right? And dealing with different people, and people react to things differently. But the most important part is always be there for your customers, because my customer so you always have to ensure that your customer, because for me I would say that customers were my biggest capital, right? Because they kept coming back. You know, all Gulisa, they come back, and looking back to see where we are today. And actually, I remember before this Matsegule shop what had forced me to open a shop was organizations. One said, I'm a waiter. Can you supply this? Can you supply that? It can be even the government itself. It can be big banks. It can be NGOs, private institutions. I've had experiences even in the past before where Nalibe shop. So in Makanga, business I wouldn't get it because it would feel like public interest. I want that I'll funa azadi good stuff at times. komano alibe shop amene ni ndani how special is kanga
ngapeze bati takabuti zibuzaza
so makanga maybe ukanga ufuna umpase na wake china chake. So with time I had learned that when you located somewhere, you present yourself, people trust you. So how you present yourself also, it brings in so much. So I had opened, let's say Gloyamba, I was scared because you're scared of compliance, because you have to comply. Very, very important. So I had learned to say, I feel like zintwete zinafika kwento tinolugamente nazo mkali mkuzimajuka. What if one day azandipanga chipongo? So looking at all the factors, I had say, let me settle down. So I still wasn't up for it because I was scared. Shop has more expenses. You need a team, because even the team that you're working with, you don't know right? So I had found a team. First of all, Wanga set up the area could at least so for me the presentation was, since it's an Apple product, I want to put customer akabwira. I want the feeling that you get when you come inside. It should you also feel that I've seen this maybe at some airport in some country. So that's what it was for me. And nice and set up. And then with time now, the support that we needed from the organizations that were coming at first, now at least we had the location, we had referrals, so we had a brand. So it's sort of paved the way for us, that helped us to grow, Sometimes you just have to use the right channels, and that's it.
You're watching Times exclusive and in tonight's edition of the program we have Mr. Romuasi Chikafutwa, the Apple guy.
pamene tsopano wanda msisa wapitakaye kubreki kupumula kuti ayi ndithu tsopano apatse mpata ngiyatu mkulu amene akutitu Apple guy. Ife tatiyeni tikupatsireni nkhani ina imene kuchokera ku Times, komatu mkuluyo akunjoya kwambiri. Mkulu akufotokoza za mmene ntchito yake kuyendera yogulitsa katundu wa Apple, katundu wodula kwambiri wa mtengo wapatali, komanso katundu wabwino, mafoni, makompyuta, ma iPad. Mkulu amene ntchito akuyigwira bwino. Tatiyeni tione nkhani imene Times 360 yalemba akuti chipadzuwa cha dziko lino thandi chinsi chasankhidwa kukhala kazembe wa kampani ya Beauty and Beautiful SKE Cosmetics Limited. Ndipo kazembewu omwe ndi wa ndalama zokwana 10 miliyoni akugwira kwa miyezi 10 akugwira kwa miyezi yokwana 10 miyezi 10 imeneyo. Chisiwati adzipereka kuthandiza kutukula kampani mbali inayi, akupereka katundu wabwino ogwirizana ndi anthu a mdziko muno. Kampani yati yasankha chipadzuwachi kuti chithandize kutukula ntchito za kampani kuti zipite patsogolo. Nkhanitu ndimeneyo ndiyetu awa ndi achisi athandi chinsi amenetu ndi padzuwa cha dziko lino amanasankhidwa kuti ayi ndi mtsikana okongola kwambiri Malawi yonse. Chabwino ndiye tamvanitu ena zimene alankhula apa makamakatu amenewa ndi amoyo nkuja akunena kuti and a certain teacher at Nthumbo just got a 4-inch double mattress for his outstanding performances. Ndipo tuyo akunena kuti ndipo mphunzitsi wina pa Nthumbo secondary school akuti iyeyi walandira mattress a 4-inch chifukwa cha ntchito yake yabwino. Akutero mkulu ameneyo akuti anaphunzitsa bwino masamu ndi anathibula kuchaya ma distinction. Nditili ndi a Benedetta Banda kuti uchipadzuwa wake wa makeup Times sometimes be serious before posting please, because I don't see any looks to her. Guys, look at pakamwa nzimene tiwalankhula akuti twa Times tamapangani zinthu zaona zeni ifetu sili kuona kukongola kuli konse apa. Izi tunzimalankhula yo Benita Banda. Ndipo mwiwa muule akuti at his birthday buy something like 20 liters chigubu fuel. Now amunao they get tired with 26 zimene yowa alemba apa. Chabwino ife tatiyeni tikutengereniso kwa wanda msisa pamene akupitiliza times exclusive hetu nkhani zimene zinamanga kwambiri zokhuza apo makampani tu akuluakulu mdziko muno, Mkulu tu amene akuchita akupanga business kapena akupanga ndalama zodabwitsa mdziko muno. Tikumemeni inu musawale kupanga like, musawale kupanga subscribe pamene tu times exclusive ikupitilira yetu nthawi ino lelo pa 12 April 2026 la Mulungu. Ambiri ali machalichi kukapembedza Mulungu, koma ife tatino ngakhala anthu akupemphera koma anu mukabwera ife tikupatseni izi kuti muonere ndithu mumve kuti kodi akuti zikuti bwanji ndi Mkulu ameneyo. Tapangani like, tapangani subscribe.
Takulandirani pamene tikupitilira ndi program yathu ya times exclusive imene matifika ndi thandizo lochokera ku Rainbow Paints. Ndipo mu program yathu ya lero tikucheza ndi Mr. Romulus Chikafutwa amenewa ndi amene amadziwika ndi dzina lokuti the Apple Guy. At 27 years old atsegula ndithu mashopu akuluakulu ndithu mdziko muno ogulisa ma products amenewa Apple. Nde takulandiraniso ni Mr. Apple Guy.
Bwana
Timagamba zokuti mnali mtimantha koma pang'ono mantha aja kutha kutsegula shopu yoyamba, manonso matsegula shopu yoyamba mudatsegula Blantyre meti manenera pa Mall of Africa, yachiwiri ndithu ndi Gateway Mall mzinda wa Lilongwe. Pano mumagwira anthu ogwira ntchito ku company kwanu ali kwangati?
Now we have a number.
Yes.
Maybe about 8
people.
Around
And no employer wamphavu.
Inaso nazivemba.
Inoso mugwira so ntchito ndi plus ino ndo tachinayi.
I'm sure, yeah.
Business wenda bwanji. How would you describe the padakali pano tumamva kuti ya inflation kuvuta komanso forex kuvuta, ya tikaona nkhondo zikuchitika zigaso petrol akuvuta. Business ino wenda bwanji pa ground?
Business is quite slow, you know, when you talk about the inflation and everything. But I believe Kodi is into Zikalapon. It's a game of patience, but during this time you still have to persevere. So many big money, someone should come to you and say, no, Chonchi, aye. So I believe Kodi, even Panova business is difficult in Kondos Agunta Zija, Zima Karabe Kodi Zima Panga affected, Zintu Mokwet. Koma Ben, at the end of the day, Zintu. So everything is okay. Yeah.
Magatenga kuli products are. Semanina?
Hi.
It's a secret. It's a business secret.
Every business is a secret. So, you just have to. The main goal is just to have authentic stuff. You have good suppliers from wherever they come from, and yeah. So
why was Munganene? Okay, did team some microphone when I'm telling you Komano Amalawi anakulandirani bwanji. Mwatsegula shop weyamba mango pangano mwachibwana bwana. Panopa you're doing it seriously. Ndipo anthu angapo akhala kumanena kuti who is behind Apple Guy? Because people believe kuti a 27-year-old boy, if I call you a boy, a 27-year-old boy cannot own shop ngati mene Blantyre, shop ngati mene kulilongo. Kukwena ukhawe nayo kuseri wanu. Kuli ndani kuseri wanu ku Mr. Apple Guy?
I believe, okay, that's what anthu magamba amakhanizo siyana. But consistency bwana. To be honest with you, and there's someone behind or kaya kulindani. Sometimes I just feel like sometimes people are always in denial to say this is not possible. Figure out. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
But God's grace to me, I've seen even upon my life to say that God's grace, is something that you should, for me, I pray for it, and it's something that, something just connects you to something. You understand? So, if customers, because it's the same repeat customers, you understand? So, that has actually, I would say, help us to grow, you understand? So, we are where we are because of customers, their support, so that's it.
muoneka ngati ndinu munthu okhulupirira mulungu. Makhulupirira mulungu?
Very much.
Ndinu wabadwa somasopano?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Nzotheka mkhristu mapanga business atwenda mona ngati nzosatheka. Chifukwa ndi makhanga ati business imafunika uzikhapo ndi utambwali chanchani. Munthu mkhristu ngati mapanga business. Eza business kuliza utambwali chonchi.
Not really bwana. Business bwana imangofunika quality. Manifest said being honest to people, because that's for me. I know that's my capital. Because because even if you build customer experiences, it's not magic or anything, but but it's just the feeling that you get. And I've learned this the experience, exposure, I should say, is really important. Because after some time we ended to do experience and who they somehow they don't even